Hello and welcome to the crash course for the traditional slash IRA setup through M1 custodial accounts. My name is Eric. I am Deborah Husband's husband, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank you again, to thank each one of you parents for raising such incredible children. It has been a pleasure working with them, educating them, conversing with them, discussing with them this past semester. Now, as a refresher, this particular finance class was called Finance and How Money Affects You rather than Econ class because we didn't concentrate on economic theory, we concentrated on actual actionable items that your children can start to implement. And so let's go ahead and get started. Here on the home screen, we do have M1 custodial accounts. If you do decide to go that route, and of course they give you the advertisements, give your child a strong start. But it does make sense when we're looking at investing and we're looking at building a nest egg. We all know that it makes more sense to start younger and to have more time for those investments to compound, to mature, to grow. Now, we know this in our mind, but how often do we wait? I know I specifically waited until I was past 35 before I started working on my retirement account. And then I looked back at all the potential interest and compound interest that I had lost out on, and I didn't want my children to have that same problem. I wanted my children to be in a far better financial position than I am when they get to my age. So a class review, and for those who actually show up to the class, these students will be answering these questions. What is monetary supply? What happens to the value of an object as its supply is increased? What causes inflation? What does inflation do to your savings and investment? And finally, which IRA pays taxes on the seeds rather than the harvest? Now, for the sake of this video, we won't go through those, but if you are there, these are questions that all your students or that your children should be able to answer. And then the objective for the class and for this video, in this lesson, we will walk through the setting up of an IRA in M1 Financial Plus. Now, this is where I want to make sure I put it out there. This class or this crash course, this video is on M1 Financial because that is the platform and the brokerage that I am comfortable with and familiar with. But there are numerous other quality brokerages, and if you already have your own 401k, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, if you have these accounts set up through a different brokerage, then simply do a YouTube search and see how to add a custodial account for your children through the brokerage that you are familiar with. Now, the overview of the whole process: you're going to sign up for M1 Finance, you're going to create a pie, we'll get to that later, you'll open your investment account or your child's investment account, you will fund the account, transfer money, build your portfolio, and then actually do the full transfer where it comes from your bank into your account. You will fund your investment portfolio rather than simply funding your account. And it is important to note that M1 Finance, what separates them from more traditional brokerages, is they like to look at their investment portfolio as a pie rather than as a portfolio. So you'll see here John's dividend pie. Each one of those colors, each green, each purplish, and I guess a little bit of grayish, each one is a different position that they have in that portfolio. So one position may be in Tesla, one may be in the S&P 500, one may be in American Water Works. But rather than buying entire shares, the money that you transfer from the bank into your investment account will be cut up by percentage. So you may have 37% of a pie is dedicated towards Tesla. And so if you transfer $100 from your bank account into your investment account, $37 will come out of that 100 and go into Tesla. So this is fractional investing. You don't necessarily need to be in a position to buy the entire share, like with Tesla is over $1,000. If the child only has $25 to invest, they can invest a fraction of that $25 into a fraction of Tesla. So it makes it easier to automate, easier to conceptualize, and I think it gives the investor themselves more control of where their money is going. So step one, signing up for M1 Finance. It's pretty straightforward. You download the app, you click sign up now, you enter in your email and password, you hit confirm, and then you enter in a PIN, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be accessing this account via your cell phone. It's one of the things that makes it convenient. You will access it via your phone. Then you will, step 2, open the custodial account if you are using M1 Plus. Now we're going to come back to this in just a little bit. M1 Plus is not the free version. You can download the free version, and we'll get to that in step 3. But if you want more customization, there is M1 Plus. Now, I don't get a kickback. I'm not going to give you an offer code. That's not my purpose here. I have no financial vested interest in what type of brokerage you use, and I don't want there to even be, what's the word I'm looking for? A conflict of interest. I don't even want a conflict of interest. If you do open up the custodial account right now, it is free. You get 1 year free, and I believe it's $125 going forward. Now, you do get more functionality, and I won't get off into those specifics right now, but one of the things that it does allow you to do is open up a strict custodial account, meaning that you, the parent, have the account, and you open up a sub-account, a custodial account, where you have full control over that Roth IRA, that investment account for your child. And then typically, the leadership or the administration, the admin of that account will go from you to your child somewhere between the ages of 18 and 25. But so if you are going to use M1 Plus, this is the steps you'll go through. You'll go to add account, you'll go to add custodial account, you'll enter in the personal information. Now the personal information is going to be your name, your social, their social, your banking information, different questions about what you're looking for in investing. These questions are required via federal law. So you do go through, you will need to enter in that personal financial information. M1, as every other broker, uses bank-grade encryption, so your information is safe. But FYI, no matter who you use, you will be entering in personal financial information. Then you're going to look down to Browse Expert Pies. We're going to get to that a little bit later. And FYI, with M1 brokerage, $100 is the minimum amount to open an account for non-taxable, and $500 is the minimum account for a taxable account. So for an IRA, the minimum contribution is going to be $500. So you may say, hey, you know what? I just want to get my kid into the habit of investing. I'm willing to put in $100. And when they get in excess of $500 naturally, then we will shift it over to an IRA. That is totally cool, totally possible. Don't look at the 500 and think that has to be where you start. The minimum to start in M1 is $100. So now we get into step 3. This is if you're going to be using the free version. And that's where I had my children start out, was under the free version. So it's totally doable. You're going to go to add account. You're going to then scroll down to where it says retirement account. And now we will discuss in class the differences between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. For the children, and I should back up, I should have said this at the beginning of the video. I am not a financial planner. This is not legal financial advice. This is curriculum and experience that I have constructed and organized and presented to your children. So while I slightly favor the Roth IRA for children, there is no empirically right answer, and this is one thing the kids will answer in class. what is empirically better, a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA? And the answer is it depends. It depends on your situation. It depends on your goals. But for the sake of this, we're going to go step 2, click that retirement account. And then if you are looking to open up a traditional IRA, click that one. If you're looking to open up a Roth IRA, click that one during this account creation stage. Then we move to step 4, entering your personal information. Again, this is going to be banking information, personal information, contact information, etc. And like I said earlier, personal information is needed to satisfy federal law. Step 4 is funding your investment account. So actually attaching a bank information to your account. This is not where you transfer money. This is just where you attach a bank account with your investment account. So you'll get an opportunity to connect your bank, and then it's either connect instantly or manually. Instantly is preferred because it's just much faster. But if you do have any issues, you can go through and connect manually. Instantly, you can have this entire process done within 15 minutes. Connecting manually typically takes 2 to 3 days because you're waiting on the information to come back to you. Pardon me. Step 2, make your initial deposit, $100 for that non-taxable account, and $500 if you are opening up a taxable account, such as a Roth IRA or traditional IRA. Then you'll have the opportunity to build your pie. This is building your portfolio, building your investment account. And M1 will give you these options to help direct you and make it much easier. If you've never done investing, stock investing in the past, you've never invested in ETFs or funds, M1 wants to make it as easy as possible for you. So you'll get this drop-down option. General investing is just that. If you're just getting into investing, you're not looking for special tax accounts, you're just dipping your toe in the water. The next option is plan for retirement, and that is where we're going to be focusing here in this video and in the class. It's creating that Roth IRA or traditional IRA. Then you have responsible invest. If you are looking for creating a portfolio that only is green technology or responsible investing strategies, responsible being environmentally responsible is more of an environmental focus. That's your option. Income earners is stocks and funds that are paying dividends, so you actually make income as you go. Hedge fund follows. This is where you actually follow professional hedge funds and basically mimic their buy-sell strategy. Just stocks and bonds is not recommended unless you know what you're doing. That is, they basically take the training wheels off and leave you to your own devices. It is not what I would suggest. And then other strategies gives you other obviously other strategies that are outside the focus of this particular video and the particular class that your children were in. When you get into plan for retirement, so you click on that, plan for retirement, it will give you a couple of questions that you just need to answer. It'll ask, are you interested in aggressive, conservative, or moderate investment strategies? And below, you'll see this aggressive, conservative, moderate is a basic breakdown. For our children can be more aggressive because they've got an investment horizon, an event horizon that's outside of 15 years. They're looking decades down the road for their 65 to 67 retirement. But if they are looking, or if you are looking for something that is less than 5 years, strongly consider going conservative. If you're looking something between the 5-year and 15-year marker, something, or your event horizon when you're planning on cashing out is between 5 and 15 years, that's when you'd want to look at moderate, and it'll help direct you to portfolios, to stocks, to ETFs, to bonds that will cater to that aggressive, conservative, or moderate mindset. If you open up any of the options that they give you, you will see that they give you holdings information, how much your current portfolio is holding in that position, what the expense is, how much you're paying to have that particular portfolio, the dividend yield, if it does have a dividend yield, and then it'll give you 5 dots of risk. 1 dot being extremely conservative, or I believe they call it ultra conservative, and 5 dots being extremely or ultra risky. So you can judge the stocks, the ETFs, the funds, the different investment modalities by their risk level just by opening it up. It'll show you a 1 to 5 risk. And then it'll give you a graph of projected returns of 1, 3, and 5 years with that particular investment. Now, these are projections. Nobody has a crystal ball, but it does give you some good information to base off of. Now, again, for our children, we're looking at a multi-decade projected return. So the 1, 3, and 5 year are interesting, but I wouldn't get entirely hung up on that 1, 3, 5 because our children, again, are going to be in these portfolios theoretically and hopefully for many decades. So multiple pies. If they decide to open up multiple pies, and we'll discuss this a little bit in class, and if you have any questions, by all means, please feel free to contact me. Multiple pies is not something I'm really suggesting for the children at this point because it's just another stage of complication. But if they do decide to go that route, you can have one pie, one portfolio that is environmentally conscientious investing, and another portfolio that is just for your dividends, and another pie /, portfolio for the S&P 500. It gives you those options. But again, for the simple sake of simplicity, let's stick with one pie with our children until you, the parents, and the children themselves get a few months under their belt and get used to how to navigate the site. Oh, sorry, there was a 90-10 rule. You know what? We'll come back to the 90-10 rule here in a minute. So why have I taught you this? One day, this is what I bring up to the children. One day you are going to wake up next to your spouse, your kids playing in the living room, your back is going to be stiff, your mortgage is going to be due, your youngest is going to need braces, your oldest needs more money for the big recital, and at that point, you are going to ask yourself, why did I not start saving sooner? This is exactly what I asked myself. I am the person here one day waking up, and that may be you too. By allowing our children the opportunity to grow an investment portfolio while they live with us, while they are protected, while we can guide them, while we can help them, is far better. I hope you can see that it is far better for our children and our children's financial future than simply saying, hey, it's a good idea to invest and you'll get into it when you get into your 30s or 40s, or if you're really great, you might get into it when you're 20s. Rather than that, let's set them on that road to success right now and help them set up their accounts so that they can start building their own portfolio and seeing the fruits of their labor. If you do show up to the class, we're going to walk through. We created a portfolio for both Kellen and Roman, and every class I pulled it up and wrote down where the portfolio is, what the value is. Has it gone up? Has it gone down? By how much has it gone up? By how much has it gone down? And I juxtaposed that against the national average of a savings account yield. So right now, the national average for savings account is 0.21%. So about, for a $500 initial investment for the Roth IRA, it's about $1.05 after 1 month. That's the interest you get. Well, with inflation, our inflation rate is sitting at about 5.5. We are actually losing buying power. We're not technically losing money, but we're losing buying power by having our money in a savings account rather than an investment portfolio. So I've challenged the children to look at their investment portfolio as a savings account. You place the money in there and you allow the savings account, if it's a strong S&P 500 with an average 8% yield or greater, it'll keep their money, their buying power, ahead of inflation so that they're not losing buying power in a savings account. And again, we'll get into that a little bit more in the face-to-face class. Let's see, let's pull this up real quick. This will be the handout that I'll give in class, and this is the step-by-step of how to set up their account. So step one, sign up for M1 Financial. It'll take 15 to 20 minutes. Download the app, hit sign up now. Anything in bold is what I recommend. That's the button that you hit next to hopefully get you through the process as quickly and as painlessly as possible. You will enter your email address and password, and you will get updates from M1 Financial saying, hey, this is your dividend yield. Hey, we've just done another transfer, etc., etc. They'll update the information there, but they will ask you to set up your PIN. And they're asking you to set up that PIN so it's easily accessible, so the profile is easily accessible from your phone. You can always look at M1 Financial from a desktop computer. It's just convenient to be able to pull it up from your phone. Then it'll talk about creating a pie, and you can choose individual stocks and funds, or what I recommend is explore the expert pies. And it'll give you that option, expert pies, and that's where you'll find, are you looking for aggressive growth? Are you looking for moderate growth? Are you looking for conservative growth? Are you looking for general investing? Are you looking for retirement accounts? Are you looking for environmentally conscientious? Those are all under the Expert Pies section. And then it'll ask you to verify your phone number. This is if you decide to purchase the membership. And again, it wouldn't even be purchased this year because it is free for your first year. And that is opening the custodial account. You will go to add account, click custodial account, enter in the information into the data fields, hit confirmed, read and understand the terms of agreement, and then you will create your pie. And this is a reminder that it's $100 for a non-taxable account, so for general investing, typically, and $500 minimum if you want them to open up a Roth IRA or traditional IRA. And you can absolutely start with the $100. And if your child is saying, hey, I am willing to put in $10 a month, or $25 a month, when they get closer to this $500 mark, or when they get to, I should say, the $500 mark, then you can transition from a general investment account into a Roth IRA or traditional IRA. If you do not want to go that route, if you do not want to go with the plus account, you can do this from the free account. You open up your investment account, you add account, and then you go to, under the accounts, it'll give you individual investing, joint investing, again, not recommended for this stage. Retirement is what we suggest, and then a trust account. Again, that's a little overcomplicated for the sake of our children. And then it'll give you the option for a retirement account. Do you want a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, a SEP, or a rollover? And depending on what you and your child are looking for, it'll either be a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. Then you'll go through and enter in all the information: name, phone, address, date of birth, employment status, country of citizenship, annual income, total net worth, total liquid net worth, what is your level of investing experience, which is probably going to be low. That's not a big deal. This question, a couple of these questions, are more for M1 to help guide you to recommendations that would suit your goals and your comfort level. But it changes. Don't think you're going to be locked in with, if you say I have no experience and I'm only looking for conservative, don't think that means you're not able to do research for more volatile investments. They just want to help get you set up as quickly as possible. So what is your level of investing experience? What is your risk tolerance? And again, I would say for children, it's high because they have multiple decades for their investments to mature. What is your investment horizon? And for our children, it's 8 years plus. How important is liquidity? It's not important for our children because it's going to be sitting there for decades. How'd you hear about us? Doesn't matter. Put whatever you want in that answer. Like I said, I don't even want the imagery of a vested interest. However you want to say you heard about them. You're going to enter in Social Security information, double check the information, and then hit confirm. You will then connect your bank. Remember, connecting instantly is quite a bit faster. And then it'll ask you to make your initial deposit, whether that's $100 for a non-taxable account or $500 for a taxable account. And then you will build your portfolio. You will have the option of invest in my first pie, which is totally customized, a pie that you've created, or you can browse Expert Pies. Again, I highly recommend Expert Pies, and I will show you in the in-person class. It's not hard to find. You open up the menu. It'll say build your portfolio and then browse Expert Pies. It's not difficult to find, but I will show you quickly in class just exactly where it is. The other option will be search securities. We're not really looking to go that route. And then it'll, for the banking information, now that you have a pie, you've chosen your pie, you've chosen your portfolio, now it'll say, now please transfer money into that account to purchase the shares that you say you want to invest in. And you can do a one-time transfer and you can do a reoccurring transfer. Now, one-time transfer, if you're looking to do the $500 and just open the account, I would suggest that would be a one-time transfer. And then entirely up to you and your children if you want to automate a recurring transfer going forward. Now, I do this for my children. I like automation. It makes my life easier. It's just going on in the background, and I get an email notification from M1 saying, hey, just letting you know, $100 went into each one of your children's accounts as of 9 a.m. this morning. So it just makes my life easier. And ask your children about this. You know, what is better to do consistent smaller allocations or one big allocation into an account? And your children hopefully will be saying that it is better over the long run to do multiple small allocations consistently. That will build up not only the habit, but it'll actually build up typically better compound interest. And then below on these transfers is a transfer of account. If you start with that $100 and then decide that your child is going to move to a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, this is how you would do that. You would go to transfer accounts, and then there's a whole other set of submenus. M1 Financial is incredibly easy to use. That's the main reason why I prefer it. It is incredibly easy to use. The other reason is it allows the children to have an opportunity to have a little bit of freedom and invest in something that excites them. So this is by no means a recommendation or no means advice. This is just my personal opinion at the moment of filming this video. I do not invest in Tesla. I am a little concerned with how out in the open Elon Musk is, and the market is a fickle place. So I'm concerned that there may be a lot of negative press that comes out that will hurt his companies. So I personally do not invest in Tesla. That being said, I can be entirely wrong. And maybe Tesla is a great investment. But now let's look at your kids. What I have told your kids to consider is putting, let's go back to that 90%. Where did it go? That 90-10 rule. That what I would suggest and what I'll bring up in class is that you should have the vast majority of your allocation of the money in an ETF, a well-diversified account. Now, the S&P 500, I'm sure you've heard about it on the news, or you may be invested into it yourself. The S&P 500 is a good gauge for the health of the American economy, and if you do a Google search right now and look at the growth of the S&P, it averages 8 to 9% growth over the long term. Now, right now we're in a pretty crummy economy, but for your children, looking at a multi-decade horizon, looking at possibly a 50-year horizon or a 40-year horizon before they would need to liquidate those funds for their retirement, the S&P 500 is a hard place to beat for beginners. And again, our children are all beginners. And what I've challenged the students to look at their investment account as a bank, not to be Gordon Gekko, not to be a Wall Street investor. That's not what I taught. That's not what I'm, that's not the kind of imagery I wanted to put forward. That is a whole different animal. What I am looking at and what I instructed the kids is, let's look at inflation. Let's look at how compound interest works. Let's look at where you want to be when you retire and what is the single most effective modality that is simple to understand and simple to implement. And that is the S&P 500, investing in VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. But there are, there are people who think they are smarter than the market. And so if they're not going to put 100% into the S&P 500, then I would suggest at the very least putting 90% in, and keeping only 10% of that allocation to choose individual stocks that they like, such as Tesla, such as BRCC, such as Apple, such as Samsung, such as Talon Metals, whatever individual stock that they're excited by. It gives them the opportunity with that 10% to do a little bit of excitement, a little bit of experimentation, but it won't hurt them overall. At worst, they're going to lose 10% of their current allocations. Again, that's only if you, the parent, are comfortable with that. I will let you know that is what I do with my boys, but I am fully convinced and fully in support of. If you say, no, I want them to only be in a full market ETF or the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones, I want to be part of a fund, and I only want my children to be there. That is 100% acceptable. And I support you entirely, and I've said so much. I've said as much in class. Now, this is a 30-minute crash course. I will post this video. I will also have the Word docs that I created, checklist on how to create these available to you. Again, I do want to say it has been such a pleasure. I've been so enthusiastic and looking forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays to work with your children. It has been an absolute blast, and I hope that what I was able to do was expose them and to familiarize them with what is money, what is inflation, what is monetary policy, what is compound interest, what is the basics of investing, and how can your child specifically place themselves with your help in the best, with the best options and the best chances of a bright financial future? Because as we've discussed in class, money and finance, money gives you options. Money does not make you a good person, nor does it make you a bad person. It gives you options. And so those that have independent wealth, they have a better opportunity to bless those around them. You've been teaching your children to be remarkable young human beings and to grow into remarkable adults. And now what I'm hoping is to help them build their financial nest egg so that they can continue, as they grow older, to bless themselves specifically, their family by extension, their neighborhood by greater extension, and their world by greatest extension. If there are any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to contact me. You all have my cell phone. If you do not, it is 435-669-0129, 435-669-0129. Once again, my name is Eric Palmer. I am Deborah Palmer's husband, and it has been an absolute pleasure entertaining and educating your child or children in how money affects you, an introduction to finance in the Homeschool Co-op.